The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is offering plenty of markets this week for the PGA Championship that you can't find anywhere else. Sign up with NBA SGPN to claim your special pick. First time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You know me, you know the voice, you know the guy. It's me, really Ro, Villain Ro. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Okay, I'm going to sit here and talk for a second because if you are listening to this show and you constantly, for some reason, come back to listen to me talk for some odd reason, you obviously like me. And if you're listening to this specific episode, you honestly like the combination of me and Scott talking about the NBA. So there's like literally zero reason why you should not be listening to the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Like there's no reason, because you like hearing us talk. You actually spend your free time listening to us, and then you like winning money, because that's literally all we do in the WNBA. So why not just listen to the show? Go subscribe. Just take a second right now. Subscribe, go follow, like play an episode, listen. I just actually don't get it, because again, you like us. You like us. It is. You like us. So like, why not go listen to the other show too and make money? Because, oh man, Stewie cashed for us, the Liberty cashed for us, Liberty team total cash for us. I mean, I don't know. I was trying to make sense of it, but we're back on the NBA show. We can talk about the NBA again.
I think the point you're trying to say is that we're the only two people on the show, so you might as well watch the WNBA show because there are no like other hosts. It's just us doing the show every day. I think that's the point you're trying to make.
All right, and if you can, well, we have, I would say it's Scott Studio Reichel, but it's not Scott Studio Reichel. It's the guy that had the Nuggets plus 2.5. Mm-hmm. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, I'm confused though because I'm with you. I thought I was going to be with Patty T today, but it's good to see you. Hopefully everything's going well.
Hey, I'm back. I'm back. Patty T was a one-time thing.
I realized that I had Nuggets plus 2.5 on YouTube. I actually had Nuggets minus 5.5 in the show yesterday as my dog. So that I'm not going to talk about. They lost by 45. Don't really have much more to add there. People can argue that, Denver overlooked their opponents. I don't even want to say that. I just think Minnesota beat the crap out of them. I feel like saying that Denver overlooked them is disrespectful towards Minnesota because it kind of like undoes everything positive they did last night. Minnesota smacked the crap out of them, and I'm going to give them credit for it. I was wrong. It was probably the most wrong I've been on a playoff game in my entire life. But you know what? I'm not going to overreact to it in the grand scheme of things. We saw Golden State lose by 50-plus to a Ja Morantless Grizzlies team, and they won the title anyway. So it doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but Minnesota had not defended home court in the series. They did. They were down 9-2 and then outscored the Nuggets by 50-plus points. So props to Minnesota. Conley came back, and he was a solid stabilizer. Defensively, they were great. Murray was horrible. Everybody on Denver was horrible. I guess Joker's stat line was okay, but for his own standards, he sucked. Nothing really else to add there. It just felt like nobody on Denver showed up, and Minnesota came out like a desperate team, and they smacked the crap out of a team that they needed to in order to potentially force a Game 7. So nothing really else to add. I was wrong on the game and basically about every single area besides Joker under assists. And yeah, we'll move on, and we got a Game 7. So that's all I got to say. You have anything else you want to add, or did I kind of sum that up?
No, I'm just happy that we got a Game 7, man. Lock in.
We
said this is what we wanted.
That's a hell of a
we
time.
said in the beginning, this is what we wanted. We actually wanted Denver to come back and make this a Game 7. Like we wanted this to go to Game 7. So now, and did you see the clip of Ant where he was like, "Oh yeah, no, that 100% happened. I 100% told Denver's staff that I will be back for Game 7." Before I left, I was like, "Hey, I'll see y'all back here for Game 7."
Use some different words, but yeah, that's basically what was said.
it was, hey, man, it's great, man. He used a lot of different words, and it's
Yeah.
fun. This series is fun.
Feel bad
Now
for
we
people
just
who took
need
his
to,
points prop, though, because everyone got pulled with like 9 minutes left. He could have had 40, potentially, but he got pulled to 27, I think.
yeah. No, definitely. He didn't even get behind because the baseline was 29.5, I think. So I
No,
don't even
I'm
think he
saying,
even,
like, he was cruising over. He just didn't play
yeah,
enough. You hear the
yeah.
fun joke about my player props?
No, I missed
I
it.
actually leaned to a Reggie Jackson over last night, and he had 0 points, 0 rebounds, and 0 assists. It
What
kind of
made
sums up
you
Reggie Jackson.
what made you lean to Reggie Jackson over? What made the switch happen?
It was at 5.5. Just looking at his last couple of
Uh
games, the volume was there. He was playing some minutes. I'm like, all right, 5.5 is a bit low. And then he had 0, 0, and 0. So, yeah, I still think he sucks. I just thought the volume might be there. And the volume
that's what
was there. I think
happens.
he was 0 for 6, but he just can't hit a shot.
That's what happens when you bet, the non-bets. Like you bet them or you even lean that way and they show you exactly why. Which makes me think next, like, do I have to bet Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals? Is that how I do this? Is that how this all happens? Because you know what I'm doing today. The New York Knicks are on the road. Well, before we talk about New York Knicks, I gotta make sure I get this promo out here for our merch store. Hey, 15% off everything in the merch store. 15% off Memorial Mega Day Sale. Mega Memorial Day Sale. Over there in the merch store, 15% off everything. You can get the Talk About My Third Leg shorts. You could get the some NBA gambling podcast gear. Get all of that. So make sure you do that. The promo code is SGPN May. That is SGPN May. And it's 15% off everything in the merch store, store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. The New York Knicks are on the road going to play Bing Bong. Going to play the Indiana Pacers. Pacers open up at 5. They're actually laying 5.5 now. 215.5 is the total. Scott, this is going to be a rather quick down for me. I'm not changing up anything about what I've been betting with the Knicks right now. Sometimes, unfortunately, I win these bets. However, the Knicks are up 3-2. I can't stop now. It's a chance to close out in Indiana. I can't stop what I'm doing. OG is not playing in this game. Mitch is not playing in this game. We already know Bojan, Julius Randle not playing in this game. They need me, Scott. They don't have any other options. They need me to keep fading them. What are you doing here? 5.5 with the Indiana Pacers.
I saw it was actually at 6.5 last night, and then it kind of been bouncing around 5.5 or 6. So we can cap it however you want to cap it, because it's either at 5.5 or 6 right now. I'm taking the Knicks in this game. Just looking at how these teams played in the last game, the main concern you had with the Knicks was them just being out of gas. We saw that in game 4. They got buried, and maybe that was for the better because the Knicks got to bench all the starters that would have played 40-plus minutes for basically the entire fourth quarter. But the Knicks came out, punched Indiana in the mouth, and Indiana wanted nothing to do with it. So I guess the question that I have for you, since you are taking the Pacers technically, do you think the Pacers can actually match the Knicks physically? Because we've seen the answer for most of these games, and the answer is no. But it just seems like Indiana is such a finesse team that as soon as the Knicks are able to embrace physical basketball, either defensively or even on the glass, because Hardenstein tied a franchise record for offensive rebounds in a playoff game. He tied Oakley with 12 in the last game. It just feels like Indiana wants nothing to do with physical contact, and all the Knicks want to do is deal with physical contact. And I feel like that's kind of the story of the series. It just feels like the Knicks are willing to go the extra mile for rebounds, for overall just defensive switches and defensive coverages. It seems like Indiana just is trying to finesse their way through it. And I feel like the Knicks are a bad matchup. But I find 6 to be a bit of an insane number. The Knicks arguably should have, I don't want to say won game 3, but Nembhard had 2 points and then hit a shot from 35 feet. The Pacers almost blew that game, like, if we're being honest with ourselves, and they completely buried them in game 4. I think game 4 is an outlier. I think in hindsight, we agree on that. I think the Knicks right now, with the added layoff time in between games 5 and 6, should be pretty rested as far as I'm concerned. Give me the Knicks. I think the Knicks are the better team. I think 6 is an insane number. Then again, I thought Minnesota last night was an insane number, and they covered by 40-plus points. So who knows? But I think 6 points is too many. I'll take the Knicks here. Worst case scenario, I see a very close game. And I think that it's going to be a one-possession game late. But I personally think the Knicks are going to win. I think the Pacers, from what I saw in that Game 5, just wanted nothing to do with it. Offensively, they were out of sorts. Defensively, they're always out of sorts. Brunson woke up again. He had 40-plus points. And Halliburton took the night off. There's just too many question marks for me with this Indiana team on a game-in, game-out basis. So I'll go with the Knicks.
I hope you're right. Well, actually, I don't. My bankroll says that Indiana's going to go and get it done. And I wouldn't actually be surprised by that. That's not this. I think this is actually a really more contested series. And I think the injuries battling on both sides of it, who's out there playing, even though they're hurt, who's not out there playing. I think that all has to go into it. Into these teams actually being a little bit closer matched than you can expect now. It's just, how does Indiana respond from that Game 5? Like, that's really the biggest question I think that's on everybody's mind. The mental fortitude of a team to respond after just not showing up like that. Like, can you keep it going for a whole 4 quarters after that? So you got to put that all into perspective, no matter what side of the coin you're on in this one.
It's
Totals
about the number, though. Like, can you explain to me why the Pacers are laying 6? The line just feels massive to me. I feel like Indiana should be favored at home. But you can
feel like it's a trap. I mean, if I'm being honest, if I take the fandom out of everything and being honest, I feel like it's a trap and you're supposed to be on the Pacers.
That's what I feel like. I mean, Minnesota was, in hindsight, the most obvious trap of all time, but it is what it is. But
yeah,
I don't know.
It's literally the same thing with Minnesota. Like, I feel like this is, so if I take away like me, my narrative, everything that I would love for the Knicks to close out here. I truly believe this is a trap. I think that my Pacers bet is going to hit tonight. Unfortunately, there's no reason this line should be 5.5. And leaning, like, everybody's betting the Knicks, and then the line continues to move up more and more and more. Yeah, there's no reason for it. It really screams that Pacers are going to win this game.
The issue is that I was looking at the mini game that we play, and we do not have any usual suspects in the ref report. So Brothers and Scott Foster, I guess, are on vacation because they're just not here. This is a standard Scott Foster spot, and he's just nowhere to be found. So who knows?
That man got fired because he lost his superpowers as the extender and got fired.
You got Zarba, I think, as the main official tonight. So no Brothers, no Scott Foster, if that matters to anybody.
Where's Fred VanVleet? You need him. All right. 215.5 is total. It's opened up at 217. It's gone down to 215.5.
I don't get the total either. I like the over. I don't know why this total's dropped 2 points. We saw Brunson give this team 40 and change last game. I guess the argument is the Knicks defensively put the clamps down in Indiana, but you're expecting Indiana to play better offensively at home. And I know that you've mentioned in the past, Indiana blind overs at home, blind unders on the road. 215.5, though, like the Knicks did score 121 points last game.
If the Knicks win, I think it's defensively. So I feel like if you're
I
on
like
the
Knicks
Knicks
team total, personally. It's going to be like 105. I think that's a bit too low, but we'll see what happens.
I think Indiana team total is where you're supposed to go. I think you should play Indiana team total over. At the very least, Indiana's going to score their points. And now, because what if this game is the complete inverse of Game 5? And what if Indiana comes in here and beats the shit out of the Knicks and sends it to Game 7? Yeah.
You're basically just saying, what if it's Game 4 again? Okay.
Yeah. Possibility. I just say Indiana. I would play Indiana team total over. I think that's the only way I would play it. All right. We'll get to player props in a second, but first, got to talk to you about NYRA Bets. Sign up today for a $200 deposit bonus with promo code SGPN200. You join now, you can claim that $200 deposit bonus, and you can gear up for Black Eyed Susan Day at Palemco. Boost your Preakness bankroll with NYRA Bets. Opt in and bet at least $150 each on the Belmont at the Big A and Palemco on Friday for a $30 bonus. Win or lose. Don't matter if you win it. Don't matter if you lose. But guess what? You can also bet at least $200 on each Belmont at the Big A and Palemco and get a $40 bonus. Win or lose. It doesn't matter. So if you're going to place the bets on, you're going to do that anyway. You might as well do it at NYRA Bets and get all of this bonus cash. And you can also get 20% bonus on your ticket by hitting an exacto on any or all races at Belmont at the Big A on Sunday. Get in and get your bonuses at nyrabets.com/SGPN200. Also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, easiest place to play fantasy sports. Pick higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, and assists. Points, rebounds, and assists, not points, assists, and rebounds. Don't know what crazy people would say points, assists, and rebounds and just stand on it. But hey, you can do entries of NBA. Hey, you can tap in some WNBA in there as well. You can actually go and play PGA Championship as well. Hey, Scotty Scheffler.
Did you have the higher half and a rest? Did you have the higher half and a rest on Friday?
They actually have a Scotty Scheffler special pick right now as well. Like I'm pretty sure they had a Scotty Scheffler half a pick now, and they used the mugshot, which is crazy. Which is crazy, by the way. That is expert marketing. Make sure you get down on Scottie Pippen half. I don't know what half it is, but it's half of something easy. Scotty Scheffler special pick for today. And Underdog, 30 states, California, Texas, Florida launched the player versus player format. You can do that. Use that promo code NBA SGPN. Claim your special pick. Claim that first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com using that promo code NBA SGPN.
By the way, I saw the mugshot. To be honest, I kind of wanted more. I don't think anything's going to top the Tiger mugshot. It's an all-timer. The Tiger one's the best mugshot in golf. So Scheffler's got to work on his mugshot game.
They got him up out of there quickly too. He still made his tee time. What is he doing? I wonder what's he.
Yeah, they got him out of there a little bit too fast, to be honest. Like that.
No, he was out of there like it was 8:40 when they said he was leaving, and on the way back 8:40 a.m. And he's 1 under through 5.
Oh no, he's in a different gear. I have to root for him to win the event now. It's just too good of a story. I want the documentary.
Like, well, I can tell you who's not gonna. I can tell you who's not gonna win. Fucking Xander.
Because he's gonna blow it.
And spineless coward.
He's so if he was in a live, which is only 3-day tournaments, he'd be so good. But since it's 4 days, he has a problem. So we'll see what happens.
So pissed at Xander. All right, here we go. Player props.
If you're picking Indiana, are you on under for Brunson? I'm trying to figure out your correlation here.
No. Oh, I think you can. I think you can get away with a Brunson over, and everybody else sucks.
Okay. You think Dante sucks again?
Yeah.
Does he punch Turner in the face? Who knows?
Possibly.
Could be.
Nobody in the league trying to fight for him. Nah, he doesn't.
Turner's not trying to fight. He just plays with Legos. He's not trying to actually fight people. If you know that story.
So I'm pretty sure everybody else on the Knicks is the problem today. That's got to be it. Because how does Indiana just dominate this game? Unless everybody's just clicking on all cylinders. McConnell's going crazy, Toppin's going crazy. Like you're getting just extreme.
I think it's 3-point props if you're going with Indiana, because they're probably just going to go bombs away from 3 if that's the script for them to win. They're probably just chucking them.
Obi Toppin 1.5 is plus 160. How many times is he open in that fucking corner?
All the time. But I gave out his points last game, and he had a bunch of turnover. The whole team kind of fell apart in the second half. So.
Yeah. Okay, Obi Toppin's the play today.
Okay. Not against it.
Interesting. Plus 160. That's interesting. I like it. Because, everybody hits their 3. I just really do think it's an offensive explosion. I think you can't go wrong with Indiana props today.
I think you can because I'm picking the Knicks, but I mean, I'll hear you out for it. If you're picking the Pacers to win the game, that means they're probably scoring like 115, right?
Yeah,
give or take.
Yeah.
So that might be tempting. Ben Shepherd's randomly been really good in the series for the Pacers. So if you want to go for his points, it's at 5.5. It's actually a plus 112. He's gone over in 4 of the first 5 games in the series, and he's also gone over in 8 of the last 10. So Shepard's actually been pretty good. And if you want to throw in his rebounds in there, you can get 7.5 total. The rebounds have been a bit. He had 0 rebounds last game. He had 7 rebounds the game prior, so maybe, that might be forcing the issue a bit, but he has been pretty solid as a role player. So if you're talking about three-pointers who might, three-point shooters who might be able to have a role in this game, Ben Shepherd at 5.5 points might be tempting as a niche prop option.
Yeah,
I
think
know
I'm
earlier in
going.
the series, by the way, you were fading Hartenstein. Do you want to go back to it? Is it a good sell high spot again?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's for sure happening. That's for
Okay.
sure happening. But what I was about to say before I get to that point, TJ McConnell. I think I want to play over TJ McConnell on his assists over 4.5. I actually think I want to ladder that. He's been, because this just screams the game. When if I think that Ben Shepherd is going to have a good game, if I think that Obi Toppin is going to have a good game, I think all these role players and these guys playing alongside TJ McConnell are going to have a good game. Who's getting them the ball? It's the guy that's actually been killing the Knicks, and now they have to respect him more. So I think that he's going to be really good. He's had 12 assists in this series. He's had 10 assists in this series. He went over this last game in that terrible game. He played 19 minutes and still had 5 assists. So yeah, 4.5 just feels really, really good. TJ McConnell ladder up, and yeah, I'm with you, JR. You got to play the double-double too. It is on the on and off pattern too. It is. So I'm 100% with you. I feel like we got to play his double-double as well.
Double-double,
And
17-1.
For TJ McConnell, are you serious?
Yep, 17-1.
Hey, let's do this, Scott. Let's do this right now, live. We're gonna play TJ McConnell double-double with Shakira Austin 15+ points.
Oh boy. Okay, we're trying to bankrupt the sports book tonight.
Yeah, we're about to do that like right now, live. I'm doing it right now because I'm gonna forget.
17. So FanDuel has 16. So that's still
all right,
closer.
I'll you know what? I'll do it. I'll get it to him. You have it. You can have it. Let's do it.
I'll pull up the Hartenstein numbers in the meantime, because I know you said you wanted the lower. You wanted points, rebounds, and assists?
Yeah, points, rebounds, and assists on Hartenstein. It just hasn't been good for him this series, and he has these crazy games, and then he goes back to being himself again.
23.5.
Oh, that's dropped a lot. I didn't realize how far it's dropped.
I think you got to like 27.5 earlier in the series.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. And then I came back, and it was at 26.5, and it's still cashed. Where is this? There we go. All right, Shakira Austin, where are you at? +2, bro. Scott, you remember when that was 540 last night? Yeah. It's +280.
Yeah, we might have to start pulling the trigger on some WNBA player props tonight.
Hey, bro, it's +280. Nah, that's 60. That's 63.60. Okay.
I mean, it's not the same since you missed the 540. But by the way, if you were looking to fade Hartenstein and you are afraid of the rebounds, even though he had 12 offensive rebounds the last game, he had
Split
7
$5
points
on it.
He had 7 points last game. Hartenstein under 8.5 points. He's had less than 8 in 3 straight, even with the 12 offensive rebounds. He just doesn't go up with it. He gets the ball and immediately looks for Brunson. He just immediately turns around and just tries to give the ball to one of the guards. So I don't mind that for Hartenstein if you're expecting him to regress. Because the rebounds and assists might stay there, but the points have still been underwhelming. So that could be an option for Hartenstein too.
And I mean, I don't think the assists are going to stay there because I don't think that this is the best offensive game for the Knicks personally. And it's just like the times that he really soared over this prop. He, again, like you said, he had the freaking 12. What was it? 12 offensive rebounds, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was the game that Brunson went out for basically a whole quarter, and he had all that extra. And then he's not looking for Brunson anymore. He's scoring at that point. He's like, he really, really doesn't go over this. So I'm fine fading him again. I think that it's not going to be close again. All right. Anything else for you?
Well, we got to talk about Brunson at least. Whether we're going to take his over or under is irrelevant.
I said play over.
I was going to say, though, we at least have to talk about him because he's going to be the main catalyst, obviously, offensively for the Knicks. The Pacers have done a good job of limiting the assists. I thought at some point in one of these games, they would be trapping Brunson and he'd end up with double-digit assists, and that just hasn't happened. So I wasn't sure if I was potentially just quitting on that idea or if maybe the assist game is overdue. Brunson's at 34.5 points. I can't take an under. I just can't do it.
He's probably going to get 40
Indiana can guard
again.
this guy.
he's probably gonna get 40 again. Like
He
he
might. It
might
wouldn't shock
actually
me.
get 40 again. No, but
Oh, let's
seriously,
give
like
that.
when he's
Yeah.
not compromised, he has 40. When he's
He's
not
so good,
compromised, he has 40.
especially with Indiana who can't guard him. Halliburton, those at 20.5 points. I understand he's not going to be as bad as he was in game 5, but 20.5, unless he goes crazy from 3, how's he getting there? He doesn't go to the free throw line. He doesn't really look for a shot most of the time. He kind
I
of
would
has
just
to go
rather
crazy
take
from
three.
3.
I would just rather take the threes if we play.
Yeah.
If I played Halliburton, I just rather. And I think I got to play Halliburton, so I would just take the threes. I wouldn't take points.
I just like the lower on points at 20.5. It's at minus 103. It just feels like a pretty
What
good number.
happens? What happens, Scott? What's his threes at? Threes are at
His
3.5.
threes.
So
Yeah, it's
3.5.
3.5
So what's that? 12 points. So there's a 21.5 lower. If you take under 21.5 for Tyrese Halliburton and over 3.5 threes made, that's 5-1.
I'm still confused though why over 3.5 threes is plus 134, but his points are at 20.5 and the under is like even money. I don't understand that. If you're expecting him to hit less than 4 3-pointers in the game based on where the price is for 3.5 threes, then how the hell is he getting to 21 or 22 points?
I think it's because it was actually at 2.5 and it just pushed up to 3.5. Because now I'm seeing his points drop at 21.5. I think everybody's taking Halliburton over today. I think these lines are going up.
They might. I mean, people are expecting the bounce back game of all bounce back games, but I don't really get what the point is. I just feel like people are expecting, well, since this happened, this is also going to happen. Halliburton's never really been a score first guy. He was for a couple games in the series, but for the most part, we all know he looks to pass first.
Mhm.
So he can have a big game, but he doesn't have to score a bunch of points. He can give you 20 points and 15 assists. There are a couple ways he can definitely impact the game. So I feel like I would be more tempted to take the over on points if his mindset was to score first, or worst case scenario, attack the rim. But I can go through Halliburton's free throw numbers again, just because, it's kind of fun to do it. For a guy that has the ball in his hands all the time, Halliburton, to go through the free throws. These are the games in this series. 2 free throws, 0, 1, 6, 0. He's had less than 3 free throws in 4 of the 5 games in the series. I have a hard time taking your over in points if you never attack the basket. It's the main issue I have with him. So you might be onto something, though. There might be a middle there if you can get threes over with the points under. But I just find it weird that his under 3-pointers at 3.5 are like minus 170, and his points props at 21.5 or 20.5. Like the math doesn't add up there because if he's getting to 22, he's hitting at least 4 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd agree with that. Like the odds don't match up between threes made and his points prop. The lines don't match up.
Yeah, if you take a over Halliburton, it's got to be just the threes. It's got to be the threes.
Yeah.
All right. Before we close things out on the show, got to talk to you about Game Time. Look, I've gotten baseball tickets on Game Time. I've gotten WNBA tickets on Game Time. I've gotten NBA tickets on Game Time. Game Time is just a really good app.
Baseball. You have a team?
The Mets.
You're a Mets guy, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's cool. We didn't have to talk about that. We didn't have.
I just wanted to ask because I'm trying to think of what local teams you have in the area.
Yeah, but unfortunately, hey, you might see me in the Mets area, and if you do, I'm gonna be using Game Time when we go into the game. Plus, they have the Game Time guarantee. If you find a seat in the same row, same section as you, and you find it for less, they're gonna credit you 110% the difference. So, shout out to that Mets win. Hey, I saw it. All right, so promo code CFBX is the promo code CFBX. For $20 off your first purchase. Make sure you do that. CFBX. Download the Game Time app today. Promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Ooh-wee. Shout out to the Pirates and the Rays too.
They came through
The
for
Rays.
You got the
The Rays had me about the shit bricks. Both of them, honestly, both of them blew leads, but the Rays was crazy. They was up 5-1.
Just 12-1, right?
Yep, 12-1. Shout out to Stewie. Man, look,
Nice.
look, Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson trade 30-point games like they Pokemon cards. Like they
Mhm.
Pokemon cards. They see one of them have a good game and they be like, all right, bet next game I'm finna go crazy. Like it's guaranteed. I don't know why they talking about Angel and Caitlyn is Magic versus Bird. We already got Magic versus Bird at home. Why you looking at Magic versus Bird over there? We got Magic versus Bird at home already. Because these two back and forth. I might have to play Asia next game. she might
I don't
have
blame
took
you.
that. She might have took that a little personal. Like, hey, you went crazy just because I went crazy. I'm about to go crazy again. All
That
right.
was actually my biggest regret from the first night of the WNBA show. We did a lock and dog for the first 2 days, and I gave out a lock, which was John Quell rebounds, which didn't get there. I just completely forgot. We spent like 5 minutes talking about how Asia's clearly dropping 30, and then she dropped immediately. She just dropped exactly 30 points, and I
Yeah,
didn't
we knew
take it.
she was.
I just forgot we
Yo,
talked about it for like 5 minutes.
yeah, man.
But
She's so good, man. So
yep,
good. All right.
she's gonna win MVP probably, unless AT's got something to
What's
say about it.
my lock for this game? Hmm.
You like the over
Give me,
for picking Indiana?
give me that Pacers team total over.
Okay.
Pacers team total over 110.5. Honestly, truly, like the only way I can see situations, honestly, I can see situations where the Knicks win in overgame. I can see situations where the Pacers win overgame. I just don't see the Pacers not showing up here at home in this situation with this atmosphere, with and the fact of how poorly, and I mean horrible, they just went and played on the road. I can't see them not scoring here. I think they're going to score, and I think they're going to put up a bunch of points. And I'd hate to fade them like that, but at least fade them on the team total. Pacers team total over 110.5, minus 110 for my lock for the dog. Let's go.
You picking an alt points on Obi? Going like 10
No,
plus or
I
something?
think I'm actually going an alt assist on McConnell.
Okay.
6 is plus 125. You know how I feel about that. So I gotta go for 8. So 8 assists, TJ McConnell, plus 460.
I mean
Yeah.
that's really nice sounding for a price.
No, for 8 assists? Come on. And he's done it twice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big McConnell guy, so I think he's in line for a good game too. For my lock on the show, I think even though it did not work yesterday at all, I might just have to go back to the overall, I'd say, strategy or script, which is kind of taking a team total over with the dog and then taking the money line as the lock and taking the money line as the dog, because I think the Cynics team total is too low. Even if Indiana's going to win, I don't trust this defense at all. And I think the Knicks offense can definitely score 105.5. Going through the actual games in the series, the Knicks have gone there in every game except the game they no-showed for Game 4. Scored 121 in Game 1, 130 in Game 2, 106 in that game with Nemhart hitting that three-pointer. But those last 5 minutes were just absolutely just disgusting. The Knicks were cruising over, and then both teams couldn't score for the last couple of minutes, and they still went over. Had 89 against the Pacers. They no-showed the entire game. Had 121 in the last game. I think 105.5 is way too low. You mentioned that Indiana might win. If they end up winning and covering, they're clearly pushing the pace. Under no circumstance are they going to try to play a half-court game with the Knicks. So if they're going to try to control the pace, that is going to result in more points and more possessions. Give me the Knicks team total over 105.5 as my lock. For my dog, give me Knicks money line at plus 190. I think 190 is a good price. The question that I still have with Indiana is if they're physically ready to battle the Knicks for 48 minutes. And I don't think they are. And the fact is, the Knicks had a couple of days off in between Game 5 and Game 6. So no matter how shorthanded they might be, everybody might be playing 48 minutes if they want to. Hart's probably going to play 48 minutes. We'll see what happens with him. We'll mention him probably in player props. In the underdog lineup. But they did not play since Tuesday. I do think the extra rest helps the Knicks more than the Pacers, just based on how much depth the Pacers have in comparison to the Knicks. So I actually do like the Knicks in this spot quite a bit. I'll take the Knicks money line at plus 190.
All right. Underdog. Yeah. I agree. We got to play Josh Hart.
I think we have to. 48 minutes is on the table again. So, question is, what do you want for him? You want just rebounds blindly? Like, ignore the points and ignore the assists.
What's the rebounds at 12.5? Yeah, man. Come on. He sleeps in the 14 rebounds.
I think he might end up with more than that. We'll see. But especially
Or
if you're expecting
or
Hardenstein.
16 rebounds and assists are at 16.5.
If you're expecting Hardenstein to take a step back in any capacity, then you're assuming Hart's probably going to get some of those rebounds that Hardenstein got in the previous game. Most likely. So.
Yeah. Josh Hart, higher. 12.5 rebounds. We didn't have to think about that.
I know the last time I took Halliburton under, I think he had 20 points in the first quarter. So I don't know if I should actually do that, but I'm trying to think of who else we want. Do you want Obi? We mentioned him as like a potential dark horse candidate for a big game off the bench.
I wonder if they have anything spicy on Obi.
I don't think they have all points.
I don't even see. Oh, there he is. Let me see.
It's probably just going to be the full
1.25. So it's 1.25 for the 1.5 threes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I can play his points or threes.
Let me see how his threes have been doing recently. He's had 0 threes in 2 of the last 3 games, but he has had at least 2 3-pointers in 5 of the last 7. So it might be about a 10.
Yeah. I mean, he's due. It sounds like he's due.
I think I'd rather take the points, to be honest, because he cherry picks half the time, so we can get between the legs dunks on breakaways.
All right,
unless you want
higher.
points and rebounds, because he actually has been
higher.
Okay rebounding wise. But
Obi higher, 9.5 points. I did like Miles Turner threes. I did see that.
I don't mind that.
You want to do it? We can take JR's play. We can add JR.
He had 3 3-pointers to start the second half, and then after that, the game was over because they didn't score. But he had 3 3-pointers in like a minute, so I'm not going to go against that idea.
Is that 2? Yeah, sure.
Why not?
He's been good, and I think everybody plays well. So yeah. All right.
Hardenstein sags off anyway, so he should be open.
All right. Miles Turner, 2 3-pointers made, higher. Obi Toppin, 9.5 points, higher. Josh Hart, 12.5 rebounds, higher. Put that in the underdog, shake it up, 6-1, $100 get you $600. Have a good day. NBA SGPN. Make sure you use that code. Sign up for your first deposit bonus up to $250, and you get a special pick too. NBA SGPN. All right, Scott. Anything else to repeat before we get up out of here?
Not really. Once again, apologies for the Nuggets last night, but that's not my fault that they no-showed the game. Not a fun Thursday. Hopefully we bounce back on Friday. And check out the WNBA show. We did a show last night.
Yes. Make sure everybody go listen. Hey, games are later today. You don't want to miss out on some cash. We got some pretty spicy bets up there. All right. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. Nothing else.
We're having a show tonight, by the way, right?
Yep, another one tonight because we got 4 games tomorrow.
Yeah.
So nothing else to say. Nothing else to do. No other way of an in podcast. Just gonna like this. We are out of here.